John here with another edition of Frog Wrestling Pond News. An update for you about the goings-on here at Frog Wrestling, if you haven't ever seen one before. What we're going to do is we're going to go over the past week. But this week, we got a lot of cool things for you. Number one, we have some rule changes. We have an exciting new element to Frog Wrestling that we're going to be introducing and announcing right here. Like I said, we're going to cover what happened. We're also going to give a little hint on what to expect this week in Frog Wrestling. I'm really excited about it. Let's get right into it. So the first thing is some behind the scenes news, some stuff that's coming down the pipe, as it were. And this week, we are going to be announcing, we're going to be adding a Champions Money in the Bank briefcase. So as you all know, we have the Dragon Beefcase. We also have the Women's Championship Money in the Bank briefcase. Well, now we're doing one for the Frog Pants Championship itself. Now, the way the Money in the Bank briefcase works here is a little bit different. Instead of being able to run in at the end of a match and automatically win, basically, for the most part, the way it works is it allows you to, at any time, declare that you would like a title match. It allows you to dictate the type of match for that title match. Or if a title match is already set to happen, you can add yourself to that match. So in other words, if it was a 1v1, you could now turn it into a triple threat to try and win that title and potentially increase your odds of winning. So in addition to that, and slightly connected to it, Money in the Bank briefcase matches are typically done via ladder matches. You can have multiple amounts of people participating, but it's almost always the type of match where you climb up a ladder, you pull the briefcase down, you win, you get the briefcase, everybody feels good. The only problem is I don't think ladder matches in WWE 2K23 are very good. They're not terrible, but they're very quick, and because of the on-screen graphic, which I might be able to disable, but honestly, it's not the full issue, you basically know who's going to win. And it basically turns into everybody climbs up, everybody takes turns hitting each other, and then it falls, and then whoever has the last chance, they get it. It's not very exciting. It's not very interesting. The matches are usually over quick, and it doesn't really reflect the excitement that ladder matches have when you watch them on TV. So instead of doing ladder matches going forward, we're going to probably do those as battle royale matches. Doesn't mean I'll never do a ladder match again, and obviously with the random match type tournament, that was a lot of fun. We might do something like that again. The ladder matches can happen there. I'm not opposed to them existing, but for something that's going to give you a cool prize at the end, like a Money in the Bank briefcase, I want it to be a good match, and so I think doing a battle royale is just going to be more exciting. So that's where we're going to be going forward. And, let me know in the comments if you disagree, if you have any ideas. I'd love to hear them. I do like ladder matches. I'm not opposed to them in principle. So let's talk about what happened this past week on Frog Wrestling. Number one, we went through the final two matches that basically made up round two of the women's random match type tournament. And that ultimately saw Kim defeat Kristen, and Hope defeat Carter. So we now know that this week, we are going to see Kim versus Hope in a random match type. We don't know what the match type will be, and whoever wins that match will then go on to face Jocelyn Kearney for the Frog Pants Women's Championship next week at the free preview that we're going to be doing. If you didn't know, that's another announcement. Free preview is going to be next week. So we will look forward to finding out who's going to win that match, how it's all going to go down. That match will probably not be decided random. This is just for the tournament, though we may throw a stipulation on it. We'll see. The next match we saw was a triple threat match, and I thought it was one of the better matches of the night. It was actually really incredible. We had a great night of matches overall, and we saw Garrett versus Patrick versus Tom, and these three have all had mixed reactions, interactions rather, throughout Frog Wrestling, and it's been a kind of joy to see them all clash. And they're going to kind of be going at it again soon. Here's my little tease. Like, not much to say on that match. It did end up seeing Patrick victorious. Garrett did a little too much showboating, had an opportunity to prevent the match from ending, but spent a little too much time outside of the ring and couldn't get in time. However, we are going to be doing a 4-way elimination tornado tag match this week to determine who will challenge the French Confection, that's Randy Jordan and Patrick Beja, next week at the free preview. So I would certainly expect Gigi to be participating for yet another chance. But who are going to be the other teams that enter? I'm not going to lie, we are hurting for tag teams at this point. There's not a lot of them. So it's going to be up to 3 additional teams. We're going to find out who is going to be challenging Randy and Patrick, although the way they're fighting, I don't know if anybody can beat them. After that, we did see our big submission match between Bo Schwartz and Brian Dunaway. This was a challenge that Bo issued last week on this very show, and Dunaway agreed to. It was brutal. It was one of the most brutal, vicious matches I've ever seen. They put each other through hell trying to get the other person to tap out or quit. And Bo ended up victorious. However, it is worth noting both wrestlers currently injured as a result of that match. Brian Dunaway was a little more seriously injured, though he is expected to hopefully be back by the free preview, if not the week following. Bo, on the other hand, is expected to simply miss one show. We're going to see how that all goes down, how that impacts. Obviously, recovery time is going to vary. They may surprise us with an appearance somewhere along the way. Also, speedy recovery. Let's be respectful. After that, we had the big Elimination Chamber match. And this is, of course, the reason I've got a smile on my face today. What a match. We had 6 entrants participating in that match. And not to sound too arrogant about it, but John eliminated 4 people of the 6 total. That includes him. So 4 of the 5 eliminations possible were done by John executing the Final Fantasy kick, no less. A very impressive showing. However, you have to say the target he wanted was Scott. And Scott was not pinned by John. In fact, the only other elimination from that particular match was from Mark Spagnolo, who managed to pin Scott after the lumberjacked kick to the face. That managed to down the champion, and it's the first time Scott has been pinned in a long time. So a very impressive feat from Mark Spagnolo. Now, Mark wouldn't go on to win the match. He also got pinned as a result of the Final Fantasy kick. The match ultimately came down to John versus Kyle. John managed to defeat Kyle after a lengthy back and forth to win the match. Now, this does mean that Ben's open invitation to challenge for the Dragon Beef Championship, whoever won that Elimination Chamber match, is now open to John. We now see a path for John to go up against Ben for the Dragon Beef Championship. And that should be happening next week during the free preview. So that was... Oh, I'm... Sorry, everybody. This is an awkward time, but I'm actually being handed a tape here. It's Fargo. It's in the Fargo case, but it's not Fargo. This is a DVD of some sort. Let's see. I don't even know if my computer has a DVD player. But we'll go ahead and put it in. We'll find out what this is. This pre-recorded message here. Looks like I do have a DVD player here. Just patch that through. Let's see what this Let's see what this is.
Listen up, fools. Scott Johnson here, and check this out. I'm wearing jorts. You can't tell because I can only go this high, but those are cut off at the knee. Yeah, that's right. The magical jorts you all wish you had in the ring when you face me. And don't let that Mark Spagnuolo fight fool you. Complete and total utter fluke. I'm not even sure there wasn't some cheating going on. But at the very least, he got lucky. What does a guy like that think if you work with wood all day, you got the hands of a bigger man? Spagnolo, I say spag no. Also, I've been hearing a lot of talk about this supposed win of Bo Schwartz over Brian Dunaway. In a fair fight, you lose that fight. There's a reason I dominate this competition. And it's for a bunch of reasons I'm not prepared to say, because then I would give away my secrets. Just know the reasons are there, and they're piling up. Faster than you can say Spagnolo. And then I have this to say to John, who won his little baby match. It's really a shame you're so focused on Dragon Beef and the Dragon Beef Championship, because you know, and I know, you can't go toe-to-toe with me!
Here we are. Here we are having a good time. Pond Wrestling, my little show that I like to do just to have a little fun. And the champ has to show up and rain on everybody's parade. He's so confident. You know what? Scott didn't have a challenger for the Frog Pants Championship for next week. Nobody's really stepped up. Nobody has done nobody's been able to stand up to him. You know, until Mark kicked him, nobody's even been able to pin him. Mark and he are going to be fighting next week. Tell you what, Scott, I accept your challenge. It wasn't direct, but it was alluded to. You want me to give up my chase for the Dragon Beef Championship? I'm more than happy to give up my chase for the Dragon Beef Championship. You know why? Because I remember what it was like to be in the ring with your punk ass. I remember what it was like to deliver blow after blow to you. And I remember what it was like to be this close to pinning you. That was deprived. Mark, he did it. He took my opportunity. I could have had 5 eliminations that night, and one of them could have been you. Because you know what? As good as that victory felt, as nice as it was to sit there and defeat opponent after opponent after opponent, and to have my hand raised in the end, that felt really good. But there was always something. There's just something nagging at me, and now I know exactly what it is. It's the fact that I didn't get a chance to put you down. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, Scott. You want to pull me out of the Dragon Beef title picture? Fine. I'm going to put myself in the championship picture. I'm coming for your title next week. And you know what, Scott? There's no reason to be sad. There's no reason to be blue. It's just going to be the end of your reign. Finally, I'm going to stand victorious. And you're going to look around at your little kingdom, your so-called core crew. Where are they? You're by yourself. And when you fall, you're going to have nobody to blame but yourself. So sure, Scott, I'll see you next week. All right. Sorry, everybody. I had to take a moment to address that. Whatever that was. Sending me a video response in a Fargo case. I mean, that sounds like something he'd do. Unprofessional, but what can we say? What can we expect from the champion other than stuff like that, stunts like that? It's high time somebody knocked him down. That's what we're going to do. But before we get there, that's next week at the free preview. Let's talk about this week, what we're going to see coming up on Wednesday, because we're going to have a nice little pit stop before I take Scott down. Other matches too, of course. This week, we are going to see Scott in action. If you want to see, maybe he'll lose twice in a row. That sure would be nice. Scott looking for a little bit of revenge. He wants to say that Mark Spagnolo didn't deserve his victory. All right, prove it. You can fight Mark on Wednesday. No title. You're saving that for me. But let's see if Mark can do it twice. Maybe soften you up a little bit. We're also going to have our tag team qualifier. I already talked about that. We're going to have 4 tag teams in a tornado tag elimination match. That is the type of match where when someone gets pinned, they are eliminated. It goes until 1 or 2 members from a single team remain. And whichever team remains, we will have them move on to face the tag champions at the free preview. We are also going to have the women's random match type tournament finals. We already know what that final is going to be. It's going to be Kim versus Hope. We don't know the match type, but we're looking forward to that. And once all that's done, we're going to have a very clear picture of what we're going to see at the free preview, as every single title will be on the line. And we will also be determining who's going to be the new holder of the Women's Championship Money in the Bank briefcase, and who's going to be the first ever holder of the Men's Championship Money in the Bank briefcase. Will it play a factor at the free preview itself? Maybe. If not, they can hold on to it, and who knows where that's going to lead. But that is going to do it for this episode of Pawn News Update. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'll catch you this week for more Frog Wrestling. Have fun out there. Bye, everybody.